everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Lunar podcast. I'm Lori and today is Sunday, June 17th. I know it's been a hot minute since I filmed my last podcast, but I've just been busy working on lots of projects and working in general, as well as preparing for my fiber share package for my partner. Now that I've got that sent out and that's one less thing off my plate, I woke up this morning totally ready and committed to film this podcast, so here we are. I have a decent amount to show you today, so I'm just gonna hop right in. So I think today I'm going to start with finished objects, go into works in progresses, and then show you any acquisitions that I have left that are included in the works in progresses and the finished objects. So I'm going to start with a finished object that was in my last podcast. I was almost finished with it whenever I filmed that one, but now I'm totally finished with it. This is the BB Cutie scalloped dress by Knititude. I got to test the pattern for her. I did block the scallops out, but I've had it folded up and I didn't hang it up when I was done like I should have. So the scallops kind of curled again, so I'll have to give that another little blocking. But it's so cute and the drape on this is so amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Hobium yarns, but that's where I got this cotton yarn. It's called Apple Natural Cotton. So if you can find that yarn, I highly recommend it. It's definitely one of my favorite cottons to work with. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a beginner friendly cotton just because it does split a lot, because it's not like a tightly wound yarn. It definitely has a lot of little threads in it. And I'm so sorry if my voice sounds weird. I did just wake up and I was like, I want to film, so here we are. If I look like crap, I sound like crap, that's why. So here is the cute dress, and it does drape lower in the back, which is my absolute favorite part of this dress. It's so stinking cute. It would look so good with like a leather jacket in this fall time or a denim jacket in the spring or summer. It's just an overall great little party dress. If you want to hear more about this particular dress, you can watch my last podcast or read my show notes on the last podcast, and I go into a little bit more detail. But since I've already talked about it, I'm just going to move right along. Also, if any of you have noticed, I grew a new leaf on my plant recently. So it looks a lot fuller than the last podcast. If you spotted that, congratulations. I am super proud of it. I've been so into houseplants lately. I have one over here. I have a couple of succulents on the table over there. I actually propagated some and they're turning out, so I'm really excited about that. And then I have one on our entertainment system as well. I also added this cute little shelf over here. It's just from IKEA, but I really wanted something to display my yarn on. I think yarn just looks really pretty and cozy, and I think it's a great accessory for the living room. I don't know why, I just had a vision and it's here and I love it. I couldn't be happier with it. All right, so I have 2 more finished objects that I want to show you. I talked about making both of these in my last podcast, and I actually did make them. Instead of finishing all those other works in progresses that I had, I decided to just focus on something new. I just finished watching the More Knits podcast, and she talks about knitting what feels right in the moment, and I absolutely love that. And I've been living my life by that for the past couple of months since I started kind of working more opposed to running my business, and I've just been enjoying knitting for myself so much. I find it so much more relaxing and therapeutic, and I'm so happy with the results because I get some really cute knitted pieces out of it for myself that I get to enjoy and nobody else. So the first object that I finished was this Rain Wilds top. I talked about it in my last podcast. I made it with the Wonderland yarn. I think it was in the color Sea Glass. And this is a sport weight yarn, which I've just come to realize is my favorite weight of yarn now. It's so, I don't know. I've never used sport weight before I made this top, and I absolutely loved working with it. So it's this really, really cute seafoamy green color, and it has some beautiful lace detailing at the bottom. I think it's supposed to mimic like running water, and it's a little bit cropped. The pattern does show you how to make it so it's not cropped, and also the cropped version, but I thought the cropped version was just so freaking cute, so that's the one I made. And it just sits really nicely. It fits really nicely. I think it's gonna be really cute with like a really long skirt or high-waisted shorts or anything like that, really. The color is just gorgeous. I can't resist. Here's another look at the lace. It does have a slightly scalloped edge. It's kind of hard to show when I'm just holding it like this, but whenever it's draping and laying, you can see the nice little scallop on the edge that the lace creates. This was one of the first pieces that I ever like truly wet blocked. I got a rinse for wet blocking. So, you know, you put the soap in or the rinse in, and then you fill the sink with water and you let it soak for 15 minutes in some lukewarm water. At least that's how I did it. And then I laid a towel out on my rug and then I pinned it to the rug. And I am so like in awe about how blocking changes the texture of your garment. It really just enhances what the yarn should be. So if you're not blocking your items, definitely do it. I mean, this lace bloomed incredibly. The stockinette bloomed. I had a row of stitches that had a really weird tension and it's completely gone. I was so devastated by that whenever I was making it. I was like, oh my gosh, it has this line. It looks so ugly. And of course, I'm the one that sees it. My husband's like, it's totally fine. But as soon as I blocked it, the line was gone. And I never in a million years thought that blocking could save something so well. Usually I'm just like a steam blocking kind of gal, but wet blocking has changed my life and I plan on wet blocking everything from here on out. So that's the Rain Wilds top by Nomad Stitches. If you guys want to make it, I will definitely have everything linked in my show notes, which are on my blog, or you can always send me a message or whatever. You can also see the yarn that I used for that top in my last podcast or on my blog. Okay, so my next finished object is so exciting. I finished my Tecna by Caitlin Hunter. You're gonna notice that I blocked it a little weird. I'm gonna have to fix that. Like I said, I'm pretty new to wet blocking, so whenever I blocked it, I pulled out the stitches too far, so now it has like a weird like scallopy thing on the side, which looks dumb, but I'm gonna fix it, I promise. But here is my Tecna. I made the small size. I originally wanted to make the medium because I did want it to be oversized, but for some reason I cast it on the wrong size, which is fine. So I made the small. It's just a little bit more fitted than a medium would have been, but I actually really like it. So the lace on the bottom just looks like the typical lace. I did mess up in some parts, but I told myself that it's okay. It's hand knit. Mistakes are meant to be made. It makes it even better. Like having mistakes in your knits is really something only you notice. Plus it shows that it's handmade and not factory made. So I was okay with it. And then I did modify the sleeves to be shorter cap sleeves, which I just really like. I don't personally like the ones that she has on there. No, I think it looks great on her top, obviously, but for my style, I went with the short little cap sleeves. I did put ribbing on the end. I also used a cast off method that was a lot stretchier because the sleeves are very tight. I did go up a size. I did the medium sleeve on the small top, but you do need that stretchy cast off on the sleeves. The cast off on the neck doesn't matter as much because the neck is already loose, so just be aware if you're making this top to go up a sleeve size and use a stretchy cast off. So in my last podcast, I said I was going to use a coast to coast yarn. I did switch my yarn. I ended up using this 3 Irish Girls yarn, and this was in the color My Cherry Amour. So it's basically a pale white creamy base. There's a little bit of yellow in it, and then it has lots of pink striping, and then tons of colorful speckles, blue, orange, brown, I don't even know. It's just really cool and pretty. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it that well on camera. I don't know if it's focusing. I'm using the back camera of my iPhone just because it's better quality. I hope I'm in focus, but yeah, I think the last podcast turned out pretty well, so I'm hoping this one does too. So that's the color I ended up using for my Tecna. Let's see if you can get a better idea of it on the top itself. So there's a lot of blue in there, which is my favorite part. And then I wasn't so happy with the orange at first. I was like, that's not really my style. But once I finished the top and blocked it, I absolutely love the colorway. I think it's so cool. It's unique. If you get a spot of chocolate on your shirt, nobody's gonna notice because there's other spots too. I'm totally not kidding, but yeah, that's my Tecna. I don't really know what else I can say about it. Again, I'll have the pattern linked in my show notes. I'm sure everybody's working on one by now, and I'm so happy to have one of my own. I'm trying to create the perfect garment for myself to wear to our Maker Life in July, and I just don't know if I found it yet. I'm working really hard to make a bunch of patterns, so I have a lot to choose from because I know everybody's gonna have something handmade on, and I don't wanna be left out. So Tecna, I guess, is in the running. I'm sure I'll see a lot of people there wearing their Tecnas, so I don't know if I wanna stand out a little more or if I wanna blend in and start some conversations with how I made mine. Okay, that was all the finished objects that I have to show you. I did finish a baby blanket for my boss. Her cousin was having a baby and she asked me to make one for her, so I was busy with that. It turned out super cute. She said everybody loved it, and that was a success. I've also been really busy with Pride Month and making my rainbow crop tops. If you guys haven't seen those, I make rainbow crop tops. I've been making them for 2 or 3 years now, and I always do a big sale during Pride Month. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I just love everything that it stands for, and I really enjoy making those tops. So that's been taking up quite a bit of my time. So I just have a couple of works in progresses that I haven't already showed you. Most of the works in progresses from my last podcast are still works in progresses. So these are some new ones. One of them I'm definitely going to finish today. Like, if I don't, I'll be upset with myself. And then the other one is kind of just like a casual knitting on it when I need something easy to take with me because it's just one ball, it's straight stockinette, nothing really to think about. But the other one has like fading in it. So let's go ahead and just get into it. Okay. So my first new work in progress is this mohair sweater. And yes, I'm using just 100% mohair. I'm not mixing it with anything. I was really interested to see what it would look and feel like if I did that. So I did it. I am using a yarn by Knox Yarn. I'm actually gonna grab it here. My tower's gonna fall. But I'm using this yarn by Knox Yarn Co. Absolutely, hands down, my most favorite indie yarn dyer. Her yarns are gorgeous. She's always spot on. She's super sweet. This particular one is in the color Dreamscapes, and it's a Flora sock base with 20% kid mohair, 55% superwash merino, and 25% nylon, and it's a 4-ply. It's super freaking cute. I actually think she has the wrong base on here because I'm pretty sure this is a lace base. So I think some of those are wrong. But either way, the yarn is really pretty. It's kind of like a gray base with just lots of, they would be speckles if they were on like a normal base, but since it's mohair, it's kind of blown out and they're like just stripy type of things. But when you knit it up, it does look like speckles. It's so cool. If you guys have never worked with mohair, I definitely say you should do it at least once. So this is going to be a pretty basic sweater with bell sleeves. I wanted to make it for multiple reasons. The pattern used like a lace weight yarn, and so this was pretty close to that. I also wanted to see how they did their bell sleeves because I have a pattern in mind and I wanted to have bell sleeves, and I kind of want to experiment with different kinds of bell sleeves. I've made a few things with bell sleeves before, but I just want to see what looks the best. There's not much to say about this one or show. I think it's so cool because of the mohair. It feels like a cloud, like a dream. I can't wait to have it finished and like see what it looks like all done. This is kind of just like an experimenting piece, something I've always wanted to try. And I have to show you, I've been using these Chiagu. I just got, like, this is my first pair that I got, and then I have 2 other pairs that I've recently gotten as well. I want all of them. Chiagus are absolutely amazing. I was always like a bamboo knitting needle kind of gal. But whenever I started doing all the lace work and everything, I wanted something that glided smoothly and had sharp pointy ends, but not too pointy because I always get a callus on my finger. So I looked into Chiagus, got a pair from my local yarn shop, and I am completely converted. The cord on these is absolutely amazing. The yarn just glides on the metal. I have a pair of regular ones and then I got some interchangeables. The interchangeables have never come in loose on me. They're completely tight on there. So if you're looking into the interchangeable set, I highly recommend them. I'm slowly going to buy them as I need them and just make my own set. And then the cord always is just flexible. It never gets stuck in a position like my plastic ones do. It's fantastic. I am so excited about this project altogether. The knitting needles with the mohair, it makes for a really pleasing experience. This is my first work in progress. Let's move right along to the next one. So my next work in progress, I also talked about in my last podcast as something that I wanted to make. This has been on my make list for years now, I feel like. I don't even know when the pattern came out, but since the day the pattern came out, this has been on my list. But that was way before I used like hand-dyed yarns and anything like that. And I knew the time was now because I've been obsessed with hand-dyed yarns, and I finally collected the yarns to make this top. So I started it a couple days ago. I'm almost done with it. It's such a fast pattern. But this is the Audrey top by Born and Raised Knits. It's really hard to show because it's split right now. I'm about to join for the neck, but this is the front part. Actually, the really cool thing about this pattern is it's meant to be able to wear with the front as the front, the back as the front, or you can wear it inside out. So that's super cool. So this is just going to sit kind of like this. The neck's gonna go up, and then it has a cowl neck as well. That's how you join the front and the back. So the back, you can see, has more ribbing at the top opposed to the side it's stockinette. I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see on the camera. I don't know if it's focusing, but it's like all ribbed on the sides and up the side of like the neck and the arm, just so it's extra fitted and looks really nice on. It's also faded, so I'm going to show you the yarns that I used for my fade. So the pattern I think calls to have 3 DK weight yarns and 1 fingering weight yarn. So the fingering weight yarn you hold through the entire pattern, and then you just switch the DK weight yarns to create your fade. So I'm going to start with the fingering weight yarn that I'm using for this project. This is my Wonderland yarn that I showed in my last podcast. It's the one that is a lot lighter than the other fingering weight that I showed. So originally I didn't know what the pattern called for, so I got these two to do the fade. Since these are fingering, I had to get some DK. So it's basically the same colors as this yarn, but a lot lighter. So I thought it would complement the yarn that I chose for my DK really well. This yarn has lots of blue, light blue, dark blue speckles. It's mostly a cream base, and it has little touches of like purple and pink in it, which I thought was perfect for the DK weight yarn that I chose. So the DK weight yarn that I chose came in a trio from Autumn and Indigo. I've been following her for so long, like years, before she even started hand dyeing. And then ever since she started hand dyeing, I really wanted to try her yarn, but I never had the chance. But I got onto Instagram one day and saw that she added some more sale yarns to her shop. And I was like, oh, let me go look. And she had this trio available. And then I had a 15% off coupon for Fiber Share, so I selfishly used it on myself and got a really great deal on this trio. So the first colorway, they don't have names because I think they were one pot wonders and she kind of just made them into a set. So the first colorway that I used for the bottom section that I held together with that fingering weight yarn was this really pale, like pink peachy color. It had some darker spots in it, but it was mostly just like an all like variegated pale pink peachy color with just hints of speckles in it. And then for the middle section that I faded in, it was this little bit darker color that has a lot more like bluey purple colors as well as the maroon colors. And it faded in so nicely, especially when holding it together with that fingering weight yarn, because the blues carried through all the way, and then it just all faded so nicely. I had a lot of fun fading it. And just ignore my sloppy cakes. My yarn winder sucks and it always gets like little knots in it. And then like obviously it pulls out the center and then it becomes a mess. So if you guys have any recommendations for a really good yarn winder, let me know, because I have the one from Michael's, the loops and threads one, and it sucks. So that's where we're at with these. You kind of just have to take what you get. And the final color that's used at the top that I'm working with right now is just a slightly darker version than the one I just showed you. So it has much darker like maroon parts. There's a lot less of that blue purple color. It just turned into like a dark purple. The yarn itself is actually just overall pink opposed to cream as the base. So it looks like it like bled when she dyed it, which is super pretty and makes it just the next step darker than the last one. So I thought this one would be the nicest close to my face because it's darker. I have green eyes, brown hair, and I just thought it would make all of that pop more. So I chose to do it light to dark, but I honestly think I'm gonna have enough yarn to make one like the opposite direction possibly, because I am all done with the middle section and I basically have an entire cake left, which is so cool. I'm not mad about it one bit. I'm definitely gonna find another project for those because I really enjoyed working with her yarn. It's just really nice. I'm definitely going to be purchasing more in the future. So I really hope that I can have this pattern finished today, which is my goal. This might be a contender in what I wear to our maker life, depending on what it looks like on. You never know, but I'm gonna give it a block once it's done, just so it lays nicer, it has more drape, it loosens the stitches. But I'm so excited. I love high neck things. Like I think they just look so flattering, and yeah. All right, so last but not least, I wanted to talk to you guys about some acquisitions or stash enhancements that I've gotten that I haven't already mentioned. I know I talked about like the mohair and the 3 Irish girls and some of the yarn that I used for my Audrey top, but I still have some other yarn that I haven't showed you guys and I need to. So if you couldn't tell, I basically cleared my shelf over here and grabbed all of the new yarn that I've bought and I'm dying to show you. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with Explorer Knits, formerly known as Ford Explorer Knits on Instagram if you guys have followed her. She's great. She has great pictures. She just started dyeing yarn and it's absolutely gorgeous. As you're gonna tell, I'm a little bit obsessed. So I think at the moment I kind of have like 3 favorite indie dyers. Knox Yarn Co., Explorer Knits, and then Hello Stella. I mostly just like drool over Hello Stella yarn. I haven't really purchased any. I purchased the Bohemian kit, which I haven't received yet, and I'm so excited to. So I haven't tried her yarn yet, but I can't wait to. She just has the prettiest yarn. She's so creative, and everything just turns out so well. And that's kind of how I feel about Allie from Explorer Knits. Like hers, the same. And I'm sorry, I keep saying Explorer Knits, but it's Explorer Fibers now because she does the yarn. But anyways, let's just show you what I got. So this was from before she changed her name. So I have the old packaging. This is in her colorway Tropics, and it's so pretty. So it's a fingering weight yarn, 450 yards, 75% superwash merino, and 25% nylon. So this is one of her older bases, I think. I think she's changing to a new base, which I have some of that I'll show you. But it's so pretty. Like the colors in it, just very, very tropical, dreamy. I can't even get enough of it. I have 2 skeins of this. I don't know what I'm gonna make, but I know as soon as I saw it, I needed it in my collection. Plus it's just really fun to buy yarn on people's updates. Like I can't take it. I have to buy yarn when I'm under pressure like that. So the Tropics was speaking to me and that's the one I got, and I'm not mad about it one bit. I just need to find a pattern for it. All right, so the rest of this yarn is also from Explorer Knits, but this is after she changed her name with her new packaging, her newest collection that just came out, like the Harry Potter collection. So I have 2 skeins from the Harry Potter collection and then one of her just like one that she keeps doing, which is gorgeous. So I'm gonna save it for last. So I have to admit, I'm not a Harry Potter fan, but I saw these colors and I had to get them. So I don't necessarily know what the names mean on them, but the yarn is pretty and that's all that matters. So this is Skeeter. It's like a turquoise and salmon color or coral. And the second I saw this, I showed my husband and I said, I need that yarn, like I have to get it. And he was like, yes you do, it's absolutely gorgeous. So he agrees with me. This is his favorite one that I have. Unfortunately, I only have 1 skein of it, so hopefully I can get her to make me another one if I need it. But I'm gonna try to find a pattern that's just like a 1 skein wonder, or something that I can fade with it, whatever. But like I said, this is in the colorway Skeeter. It's the same base as the last one. So it's in her Tintin sock base, and then it's 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. It's really nice and I love it. Again, I don't know what Skeeter is in Harry Potter, but whatever it is must be gorgeous. Okay, and the next one is also from our Harry Potter collection. I actually know what this one is, I think it's the owl Hedwig. So this is in one of her newer bases, the Denali sock. It's an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon with 400 yards. So it's a bit less on the yardage, but it's totally okay because this base is really cool. It's like a super tight wound yarn, so it has a lot more definition. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it very well, but it's just very neutral colors. There's like black speckles, there's lots of browns and tans throughout it. I did have 2 skeins of this, but one I sent to my fiber share partner. She should have her package by now, so I don't mind spoiling the surprise for you. So I did send one of these to my fiber share partner, like I said. She's a huge Harry Potter fan, and I just knew she would love this as much as I do. I'm definitely gonna have to try to snag another one, or a few more actually, because this would make a really cool sweater. It's definitely one of the best ones that she's done in my opinion. And at the same time that I bought all of the Harry Potter yarn, I also got her Mountains at Dusk, which is, in my opinion, her signature color. I don't know if she like has a signature color, but this is like the most unique, the most pretty yarn I've ever laid my eyes on, I've ever touched. Like, I'm not just exaggerating. There's so many gorgeous colors in it. This rosy pink has my heart. Like, it's just gorgeous. And then it's got like a really dark blue, and then there's some yellows and greens. I just can't get enough. I can't stop looking at it. I can't wait to cake it up. I can't wait to see what it works up like. I've kind of been stalking her tagged photos to see people working with this yarn. It's just so pretty. I can't wait to use it. Again, I'm gonna have to get more because I just know one skein isn't enough. It's in her Denali sock yarn, so the 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. It's so pretty. If you're gonna get one color from Allie, get Mountains at Dusk. Seriously, you're not gonna regret it. The pictures are gorgeous, but the yarn in person is so much more. It's perfect. My perfect yarn right here. All right, and last but not least, I grabbed this Malabringo yarn yesterday. This is in the color Archangel, and it's just some like tropical colors, some dark tropical colors, different than the ones that I got from Allie. This is in a sport weight. Like I said, I really enjoyed working with the sport weight, and I actually just got a new pattern called the Lydia Tank by Ivy and Autumn or something. I don't really know her name. I'm new to following her, so I haven't like kept up with her too long, but she came out with a new tank design called the Lydia Tank, and it's flawless. Like, you have to go look at it. You have to make one. It only calls for 1 skein for the small size, 2 skeins for the bigger size. I'll probably make the bigger size just because I'll want to make sure it fits really well. I like looser things, and I just want to make the bigger size, I think. But I'll have to see. I haven't looked at the dimensions or anything, so I may just have an extra skein after this. But regardless, super pretty yarn. That's what I'm turning it into. I'm trying to see. This is a pure superwash merino wool. So it's 100% superwash merino. There's no other things in it. It's so pretty. I'm excited to turn it into that tank. This is the next project I'm going to cast on. So that was all the things that I had to talk about today. Really sorry that I took so long to film my next podcast. I'm hoping that I can get on a more regular schedule with it. But I don't really like to force myself to do things such as like film a video or write a blog post, because I feel like they come out forced. So when I woke up today and I was like, I want to film, I just took the initiative and I started filming. So I'm really excited that I finally have this done. I can't wait to edit it and put it out to you guys, and I hope you enjoy it as much as the last one. It's been so cool reading all of your comments and seeing how we can communicate through this whole other platform. I feel like sometimes we get caught up on Instagram and the numbers and Etsy and the numbers and blah, blah, blah. But like coming on here and chatting with you guys, it's like talking to a friend that I don't have in person to discuss all my yarn goodies and what I'm working on and patterns that I like. So feel free to just leave a whole long paragraph in the comment section below. I love to read them and reply to you guys and start conversations. You guys can talk to each other. That's kind of what I want to do this podcast for. You can reach out to me on my blog, on Instagram, wherever you feel comfortable. You can send me an email. I always have everything linked in the description box below, which is where you'll find the link to my show notes on my blog. I'm going to write those up right after this and talk a little bit more about all this yarn goodness. But thank you so much for joining me here today. The weather is beautiful. I'm going to move some of my plants outside so they can get some more sunlight and fresh air. And then I'm going to play with my dogs a little bit before I start knitting. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.